segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg.
Welcome back. It is Wednesday here at the Hard Truth Studios. Jim Coyle with you as always, and now joined by the Captain Rick Bozich from WDRB.com. Rick, how are you, sir?
Doing good, Jim. How are you doing?
Good. How are things at home? I know you've been the convalescent aide here. Are you doing a good job at that?
Depends on who you ask. And when you ask. It's day 13, and today was the first day she actually went out and got in the car and drove. So
well, good. How about this for crazy? There's nothing to do with any of the teams that we'll talk about, but UNLV's quarterback, Matthew Sluka, UNLV is 3-0 right now. He is done for the season. He shut his season down. I'm going to redshirt and hit the portal because, in his words, certain representations made to me by the school, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Boom. That's like somebody sitting out for a contract dispute.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think we're going to see more of it. I noticed Louisville plays Notre Dame this week. And I noticed earlier this week that Notre Dame had a defensive back who played the first 4 games, who's gone in the portal, and he's not going to play the rest of the year, and he's going to transfer so he can play somewhere else next year. I don't think he was a starter. He was a backup. But, he announced he was done for the year. He reached the red shirt minimum, and he was out of there. So
it's like, why not finish? I guess if you're not playing, you don't want to put the effort in. But to me, if I'm a coach and you quit on your team after 3 games or whatever, I don't want you on my team. That's just not if you can't stick out a season without being a whiny little kid, I don't want you. I don't want that in my locker room. Because what the hell would I think you're not going to do it again if you don't perform and get benched or whatever?
With all the rules that have changed over the last few years, the players have gotten more power than they've ever had, and a lot of them
got more power than anybody does now.
Right, and they're not afraid to use it. And I'm sure this kid at UNLV, whether he's been denied some of the money that was promised to him or not, his representation has probably heard from other schools saying, hey, why don't you have him sit out the rest of the year? We'll bring him in here, save that year of eligibility, and he can make that much here. So,
and with a good start and that under his belt, this gives him an opportunity to not screw up
and not get hurt.
Yes. Boom.
And not get hurt. It's a better deal than the NFL. These guys can play part of a year and sit out and go somewhere else. They can leave every year and go somewhere else, which pro football players can't do. They're not making as much money, but they're doing okay. And it's I don't know how we're ever going to get any guardrails in a few areas. I mean, we're not going to go back to the way it used to be of you play for room and board and whatever kind of handshakes you can get from boosters, but we need to have some kind of guardrails here where the roster churn to me is a turnoff of every year. Guys can bolt a team and go somewhere else. I don't think that might be good for the players, but I don't think it's good for the overall health of the sport.
Well, you mentioned guardrails now, which would be great, but heck with now, they can't even control. They tried to set it up to where they could control it in somewhat, with the 2016 being kind of the line of demarcation, and players before that now eligible for NIL, whatever. Now we've seen all these guys that are suing, which, first of all, that's a little stupid. That's like a law being changed, and then now you want to go back and sue because the law was different then than it is now.
Right.
Yeah, does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. But guess what? At least it got changed. So I don't know how that's going to work out. One of the latest is Reggie Bush.
Right.
But now that one I understand it. He should just sue to get his Heisman back.
Oh, he's gotten it back, I think.
Oh, the Heisman?
Yeah, I
Committee
think he
gave it
got
back
it.
to him?
I think he got it back, or he's getting it back. I'm pretty sure he won that one.
Well, that's good. And now he wants back the money that he got to pay for the house for his parents and all that, I guess.
I mean, how much would Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Isaiah Thomas, and all those guys get if they sued for how much they were worth when they were playing college?
How much money would Damon Bailey have made in Indiana?
Yeah,
I mean, that just crazy. Oh well.
Luke Decker was another one. I mean, yeah,
very, very popular players. But so big week right now for Indiana basketball as Mike Woodson lands his first major and first true in-state recruit in Trent Sisley. Another opportunity coming today, but all indications that are coming to me are that Micah Shrewsbury is going to get his first big-time recruit in Jalen Harrelson from La Lumiere, formerly of Fishers High School, which would be a major get for Notre Dame. But that's the scuttlebutt that I'm hearing.
I really haven't heard. I heard it was either Notre Dame or Indiana. I've heard back and forth. Wouldn't surprise me either way. I mean, obviously he likes Indiana. He's been down there a bunch of times. He's got family members that have gone there, but he also really has a good relationship with Micah Shrewsbury, who's worked hard to develop it. And being up at LaPorte, you're closer to Notre Dame and to a bunch of Notre Dame games because of the proximity from LaPorte to South Bend. So we'll find out tonight at 7, and then the weight moves to what? Braylon Mullins and Eric Reeby and Michael Brown, I guess, who I think is in Louisville right now in his visit, and then going to Kentucky this weekend.
Is it Reeby? Is that how you pronounce it?
Reeby, I'm not sure.
See, I don't know either. That's why that's a different. I'm like, I'm going to say it. I've been saying Ribe, and someone asked me, "Oh, is that how you say it?" I go, "I don't know." I said, "But I'm going to say it until somebody corrects me because I don't know." Eric. See, that's why you get the big bucks. Smart man. But yeah, that's a major hit for Indiana in a positive way, landing Trent Sisley, because they beat Matt Painter and Purdue, who recruited the hell out of Trent Sisley. So that is also a great get for Mike Woodson. It solidifies Indiana's footprint back in southern Indiana again. And I'll tell you this, an Indiana coach told me, this is before the commitment, I don't want to have to play against him for 4 years. That was a direct quote. And he is just that. He's a 4-year type player who is going to get better each and every year and be an extraordinarily valuable member of your roster.
There's a lot of things to like about Trent Sisley. One is he grew up an Indiana fan. He wants to be there. 2, he's a coach's son, so he's got all the fundamentals down that coaches' sons normally have. 3 is he's obviously committed to getting better because he left his senior year at Heritage Hills High School to go play at Montverde against better competition to get himself ready for college. And 4 is he's sort of the versatile type player that Indiana needs to add to its roster, a guy who can play on the perimeter and make 3-point shots, but also has a decent post-up game. So, it's a big get for Mike Woodson. And as you mentioned, it's good for Indiana to get in-state kids. The fan base likes to see Indiana kids on the team, just like Purdue fans like to see Indiana kids on their team.
And I mentioned Jalen Harrelson trending towards Notre Dame. That would be just big for Micah Shrewsbury and Notre Dame, because Notre Dame, not known as a basketball school, had some great runs under Digger Phelps and then again under Mike Bray, but they have not reached that elite level. Micah Shrewsbury is in a state where there's talent, and now if he lands Jalen Harrelson, will show that they can not only get talent, they can get talent from Indiana, and they can get talent in the NIL era, which a lot of people think that that's not the case for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and earlier this week they got Brady Kohler out of Indianapolis Cathedral, so that's 2 in-state kids if they do end up getting Harrelson. Yeah, Shrewsbury's very well respected. He was respected when he was at Purdue with Matt Painter. He was respected because of his time that he spent with Brad Stevens and at Butler and at the Celtics. And he also is a guy known for coaching, modern offense. And when I saw Notre Dame come down here play late in the year against Louisville, they carved him up, and I was very impressed. And he's great with the media too. So Shrewsbury's got a lot of things going for him.
And then, of course, could be big losses for Purdue as they lose out, if they lose out on, which they've already lost out on their big attempt at Trent Sisley, then Jalen Harrelson and Braylon Mullins, which they are likely to lose out on all 3 of those major gets. They had a good recruiting class last year, but I think Painter's going to have to go to the portal anyway because his team is going to be so young. Half of his roster are underclassmen this season.
Yeah, Harrelson and Mullins have already eliminated Purdue, so they're not going to get any of those guys. So I'm sure Matt Painter always does a good job of finding guys who fit his system. He'll be fine. He's recovered from the loss of really good players in the past, so I'm sure he has a plan. When he has gone in the portal, he's been successful. Didn't the team last year have the kid from Southern Illinois was in there and contributed? They've had a few other portal guys in the past, so he'll figure it out. He's a good coach. I expect Purdue will make even though they've lost Gillis and Edey, they'll still be a tournament team again this year.
Oh, I think they make the tournament. I think that they're a top 4 Big Ten team probably, which makes them a team to reckon with. But I don't see them winning the Big Ten. Hey, we're going to take a quick break so we can switch gears here. And we'll be back to the Hard Truth Studios with Rick Bozich from WDRB.com. Make sure you're giving him a follow. And back with more right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg.
In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouth-watering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf Community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Revesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details.
Enjoy healthy, delicious meals at home without the hassle with the Fresh Fork. Chef-curated, ready-made meals delivered right to your doorstep. Proudly fueling IU athletes and now available to you with a menu that's always fresh and diverse, from hearty proteins to fresh salads. The Fresh Fork empowers you to make better food choices without compromising. Let the Fresh Fork help transform your lifestyle for a healthier way of living today at thefreshforkonline.com. Use promo code RADIO20 and get $20 off your first order. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Hard Truth Distilling Company and Andy Moore Honda Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Rick Bozich with us from WDW.com. And Rick, a big football weekend coming up as well for all parties involved. Of course, the Louisville Cardinals traveling north to take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And I do not think that Louisville has the firepower to deal with Notre Dame this weekend. I think
it depends on which Notre Dame team shows up. I mean, if it's the team that played Purdue or the team that played Texas A&M, it's going to be tough. But if it's the team that played Marshall or the team that played for about a half of the game against Miami, I think Louisville will be fine. Louisville's actually played Notre Dame tough ever since they've started scheduling. They beat them in South Bend the first time they went up there. They beat them at home here last season. In two other games I think they've lost have been close. So I think it'll be a good game. Louisville's got a good quarterback. I think Louisville's quarterback, Tyler Shuck, is better than Notre Dame's quarterback, Riley Leonard. So we'll see how that goes.
It should be a good game because Louisville has played well as also. It's not like I think that they're a bad team. It's not it. Notre Dame is their backs are against the wall.
No, they can't afford to lose any more games if they're going to make the playoff.
Absolutely. Indiana, of course, continues to roll under Curt Cignetti as now they hit 4-0, looking for 5 with Maryland coming in, a Big Ten, their first Big Ten opponent of the home schedule this year. And it's been business as usual for Curt Cignetti. Each game, he just takes pride and moves forward like you would expect him to do from what we've seen. But people are finally starting to catch on. But I think they still need another game, another solid win over Maryland to get into the people that are still holding out that this is a good football team. If you look at the metrics, man, they're up there with some big names. Ole Miss, Tennessee, teams like that as far as offense and defense, what they're doing. They have not played, obviously, a very tough schedule yet. But if you're doing it against everybody consistently, that's the first good sign. And there's nothing that I expect to see them slow down this weekend, save for the rain, Rick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the schedule hasn't been the toughest, but they played about as well as you can play against it. And the fact that they went out and beat UCLA the way they did, and then UCLA went to Baton Rouge and played LSU tough for about 2.5 quarters was a good sign. No turnovers is a great sign. The balance between the running and the passing a game is a great sign. Very few, if any, drop passes. I thought I read somewhere they haven't had any drop passes. Is that right? I thought I read that, but
Indiana,
yeah.
They have no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Maryland's a team that's, scored a lot of points on in the last few years and beaten them. And a couple of the games were close. Last year wasn't. It's a good measuring stick game. If you're going to move up in the Big Ten to the next tier, you got to beat Maryland at home. And if they do, then they're 5-0 with a chance to go to Northwestern. And that's not a great team. You win that game, come home and play Nebraska at 6-0. Now you're starting to become a little bit of a national story. And I think the crowd this weekend, I'm not sure how bad the weather forecast is. I haven't checked yet. I know that I'm coming. Should be close to 50,000, right? I mean, aren't they? I heard that was like 5,000 tickets left at some point. So if everybody shows up.
I heard that as well. This is where I become like the IU fans. Well, I'll believe that when I see it.
Right. And that's what Indiana's dealing with. The skepticism hasn't built over 2 or 3 years. The skepticism is built over 30 or 40 years, and it's not going to change in 3 or 4 weeks. People want to see more proof. And I know that's probably hard for the players and the coaching staff to understand, but how many times have Indiana fans been down this road of saying, yeah, this team's got it rolling, and then the trap door opens and it's back down, towards the bottom of the Big Ten. So all they got to do is keep winning. If they keep winning, people will show up.
Absolutely. The one thing I have said for IU fans, I'm like, hey, I get it. I understand what the past is, but how I look at this team last year doesn't have jack squat to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
And
it doesn't.
And I think that the fans are doing themselves a disservice by not being there to see the games, to enjoy the wins, enjoy this now because it's happening. It is happening. So instead of waiting until that train has gone by and you're chasing it, go ahead and jump on and enjoy the ride.
And it's important too for the health of the program. The athletic program needs the revenue from people buying the tickets. And, it has to help recruiting if they bring recruits in to see a full stadium instead of half full stadium.
Absolutely. That's going to be critical as the rest of the season goes forward once you get to the Nebraska games, because you would think that they're going to start bringing in their bigger recruits on those games. And absolutely they're going to have that. But they also have to have that for the players that are here now.
Of course they do, because
there has to be a reason for them to stay. Yeah, there's got to be a reason for them to stay. So it's hell, Kurt Signetti. I've seen several people, oh God, Florida's going to be coming after Signetti. Well, you know what? You're probably right. Maybe they will. But one sure thing to get him to not look at that is to, hey, I'm happy. I've got a good situation here. We're winning. The fans are showing up. But, oh yeah, the fans aren't showing up. So if that's truly a concern of people, then as Florida continues to fill the swamp while they play terribly, think about that. But that's just something that it cracks me up how people think, oh, we're going to lose him. Well, then take your ass to a game.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it takes time. You don't build a fan base in 3 weeks. It takes time. It takes consistent winning. They got to see the product. It needs more publicity, and the weather plays a factor. I think one of the things that IU has to deal with is that a lot of their fans they travel from Indy, or they travel from down here in Southern Indiana or Fort Wayne or wherever else to come see the team play. And it's a commitment, and you got to make sure that they're believing that when they come there, they're going to have a good experience. And I know they're working on that, not only, the winning football, but the winning tailgate experience. But, it takes time. So people have to be a little patient with that.
Absolutely. Rick, I know you've got to go. So what is up next for you, sir?
Writing about the Louisville basketball schedule today. It came out yesterday. And then I'll be at Bloomington on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing the Hoosiers for the first time this year.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you. Enjoy the chicken fingers.
Where's that? The press box?
Yeah, had them 3 weeks in a row now.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with chicken fingers. It'll be my first week. So
Rick Bozich from WDRB.com joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jim. Bye.
Absolutely.